NBA All-Star Weekend 2019-2020 did not disappoint. I mean, from the beginning of the week until the very end. From the USA versus the world, the NBA Skills Challenge, the NBA Three-Point Contest, the NBA Dunk Contest, and the grand finale, the NBA All-Star Game. To me, this was the greatest NBA All-Star Weekend of all time. And on this journey, I'm going to give you my good, the bad, what I liked and what I didn't like, and I think how the NBA can improve just a little bit on what was a phenomenal weekend. Let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now, if you're new to the channel, I give my passionate and unfiltered opinion on the hottest NBA and college basketball topics. I drop new episodes every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you won't miss any of the new upcoming videos. Now, this journey, we're going to be discussing the NBA All-Star Weekend 2019-2020. And to me, once again, this was the greatest All-Star Weekend we've ever had. I'm talking start to finish. Think about this for a second. When you started things off on Friday night with the NBA USA versus the world, you had some of the biggest names, some of the next stars in line in that game. Luka Doncic. You had Zion Williamson. I mean, RJ Barrett, Ja Morant. Like, this game was not maybe the most hyped game, but from a talent perspective, especially for the future generation, this features some of the biggest names that you're going to see 5, 10, 15 years down the road, who will be making multiple All-Star appearances almost every other year. So to see Zion Williamson at the end of the game, where it almost turned into like a dunk contest, some of those misses that he had were highlights, and he didn't even hit the dunk. I mean, listen, the NBA, you gotta give them credit. You gotta give them big credit, because not only did they start it off the right way, but they finished the right way. They moved from Friday night to Saturday night, and they got things started off with the NBA Skills Challenge. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Typically, the Skills Challenge is not one of my favorite events, right? Friday, Saturday nights are kind of ho-hum. The Skills Challenge was amazing this year. I mean, think about the format and how they matched up big guys versus little guys in every one of those matchups, right? And the reigning skills champion was Jason Tatum, who was, about 6'8", 6'9", but he still had a big man that he was matched up with. It all came down to two big guys, despite all the little guards that were out there, and they went head to head. Domantas Sabonis, as well as first-time All-Star Bam Adebayo. Now think about that. That right there kind of is almost like a microcosm of how the NBA is changing, where you've got skilled big men able to handle it, pass it, shoot it. Like Miami, Indiana, they're in very good hands for the future when you have big men who are as skilled as those two guys. And you got to tip your hat to Bam as he wound up pulling out the NBA Skills Championship, bringing it back to Miami. Now, as we move over to the next event, which was, it's one of the events that actually has been carrying a lot of weight, kind of holding the NBA All-Star Weekend up for many years, was been the three-point contest. And it definitely did not disappoint this year. How about that shootout? And I mean a deadly shooter from the beginning, from the first round. Devin Booker putting up 27 points, getting it started early. And then Buddy Hield coming back and matching them. These two in the finals, I love the invention. And that's one of the things you got to love about the NBA, how they continue to change, not being just, set on the status quo. This is why I think the NBA by far is the best sport in all of American sports. They continue to modify a good product to make it great. Adding in that three-point contest, the Mountain Dew ball or whatever it was, where it was almost 30 feet out, giving you an additional bonus points. That's brilliant, and it shows how the effect of Stephen Curry and guys like Trae Young have on the NBA, where people are taking 30-footers like it's nothing. Damian Lillard's another one, and so to see Buddy Hield and Booker go head to head, that was big time ball there. And then we transitioned into the dunk contest. Now, to me, the dunk contest has been one of the most disappointing aspects of NBA All-Star Weekend for many years. Now, if you go back, like I say, this is the first time that the All-Star Weekend was in Chicago since 1988. And the last time it was in Chicago, we had a little bit of a controversy when it came down to the dunk contest. Now, in 88, for those that remember, Dominique Wilkins supposedly got robbed to hometown guy Michael Jordan, who was playing with the Chicago Bulls at the time. Well, I hate to say it, but Aaron Gordon, he got robbed this year. There's no way in the world that you have 5 50-point dunks in a row and you're not crowned the champion. Listen, I get it. Jones, he's what you call a professional dunker. You got to you tip your hat to Derrick Jones, right? I'm not saying he should have lost. I think Derrick Jones should have won, but I also think that Aaron Gordon should have won. There's no way that neither one of those guys should have left out of there without a trophy. And for this to be Aaron Gordon's second time getting robbed, which he was, they did no justice by him. This is one of the few events where you don't really have a lot of stars that want to entertain this. They want to participate in this. And to get guys that are professional dunkers like a Zach LaVine, like a Aaron Gordon, like a Jones, to get guys in there that will go out there and do it on a high level, you gotta reward those guys. Aaron Gordon said he's done with it. But it may leave the door open for the next wave of great dunkers, and I'm hoping the next year we get to see Zion Williamson as he transitions to try to make some of those dunks that he missed, and he steps into that role of being one of the stars that actually performs in the dunk contest. Now, that was Saturday night, and as we all know, the NBA All-Star Game truly culminates on Sunday when you get the best players in the world on the same floor. Now, going into this, it was kind of like you didn't really know what to expect because they changed the new format where they were going to have the quarters being games within games, right? Each quarter, the score will start over, and at the end of that quarter, whoever won, their charity of their choice would get $100,000. Love that idea. Specifically loved it because they had each one of those charities in the crowd. Like when you get a bunch of kids all crowded together rooting for the same interest, it was almost like pep rally-ish. And you love that because a lot of times you get in these All-Star weekends and you get a lot of high-priced tickets and people sitting kind of courtside. They don't really want to cheer, don't really want to stand up and participate. These young kids were in it. So anytime there was down moments, they were there to big up the energy. But before the game even really got going, you gotta love what the NBA did. The tribute and the opening to Chicago that was done by Common, the Kobe Bryant tribute that was done, that right there, that was phenomenal. Jennifer Hudson and Common, they put on an absolute show before the actual show got started. To be able to come out and for Common, he was rapping the lineups and just the whole, it was like a 6-minute presentation that he had honoring Chicago and all the different, African-American influential people in the city. You gotta love that, man. You gotta love that. And so to transition from that, to transition to the Jennifer Hudson ceremony, Shaka Khan let us down. And I love Shaka. She's one of the greatest performers I've ever seen perform live. I love Shaka, but she kind of let me down on this one. But to transition into the game itself and to go through the new format, to kind of, the first 3 quarters were really, kind of similar to some of the past All-Star games. But when the fourth quarter came and the new format, which kind of was supposed to honor Kobe Bryant, I loved it, man. I absolutely loved how they took it and made it more street ball. You gotta remember, the whole concept that they did a couple years ago where they made the NBA the All-Star draft, right? Where they have the 2 captains picking a team. That's kind of street ballish, right? Where I'm gonna pick my guy, you pick your guy, we go back and forth, and then we go head to head. Love that. And to bring in this new format in the fourth quarter where there is no clock, and one thing that I truly love, which kind of went unnoticed, there were no commercials. So it kept the intensity up where even if there was a timeout, you weren't going away from action. They were there committed to keep you intense on the target, which was the product on the court. I love that. And then to go with no time, no shot clock, no game clock, right? And so now it was the first 2 ever to score 24 points more than the high score going into that quarter, which ultimately the target score was 157. That was brilliant, man. So now what it meant was that you're going to end the game, not with somebody dribbling the clock out, not with a missed shot or missed layup or missed dunk attempt. You're going to end the game with the ball going through the basket as it should be, right? You gotta love that. That concept, and once again, you gotta give credit to Chris Paul, as well as, not David Stern, but Adam Silver. You gotta give credit to these guys for being innovative, for thinking outside the box. And this is one of the things that I think truly is beginning to allow the NBA to separate from even the NFL. But think about like this for a second. You're in Chicago, right? Even the halftime acts were Chicago artists. Like, you got Common up there performing. You're bringing Chance the Rapper on. You know, you're allowing Queen Latifah to speak, and Candace Parker's a judge at one point. So you have the Chicago ties there, where the Super Bowl, which is still the largest, you know, spectacle that we have on television, you don't have any Miami artists performing during the Super Bowl. You know, so I love what the NBA is doing. I love how they're being a trendsetter and truly, you know, paving the way. Listen, the NFL needs to take note of how the NBA is doing things. And I think it was even tweeted out that the Pro Bowl that the NBA has could be better, and they should take some lessons from what the All-Star Game is doing. You gotta love what they're doing. Now, as each team was going back and forth, as we went and started to narrow this thing down to the fourth quarter, that's when you started to truly see the competition. And that's what we as fans want. Like, the dunk contest, you know, the fast breaking and the up and down, all the 3-point shots. We love the offense. Don't get it wrong. We love the offense. But the competition is what we love more than just a willy-nilly up and down high scoring game. And in the first 3 quarters, it was that. It was just kind of, you know, open gym type. The fourth quarter, from the jump, from the outset, it was lockdown defense. No fast breaks in the entire fourth quarter. Zero fast breaks. You weren't just letting people run past you in for layups and dunks. You were challenging every single shot, and that's what you want to see. These are supposed to be the greatest players in the world. Now, granted, you didn't have Klay Thompson, you didn't have Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, right? So there was a lot of talent, you know, top 15, top 20 talent in the NBA missing from this game, right? 4 top 15 players weren't there, and the game still lived up to the hype. It lived up to the expectation, and in my opinion, it exceeded expectation. So for the NBA, I definitely want to tip my hat and say salute, and I got to give credit to Kawhi Leonard. Even though he only had 5 points in the second half, that first half, he kind of carried the show with 7 threes in the first half. I mean, absolutely 25 points I think he had at halftime, just putting on a clinic from outside. And he was showing that you could be quiet and still have that Mamba mentality. To me, Kawhi Leonard is the closest thing that the game today has in terms of a Kobe Bryant, right? Like, Russell Westbrook has that kind of Mamba killer instinct mentality. Kyrie Irving has, you know, that type of mentality on offense. But Kawhi Leonard, to me, is the closest player as far as body type, game style, moves, offense and defense. Like, he's probably the closest player out there. And it was good to see him be the person to get that finals in the first Kobe Bryant All-Star MVP. And so it was good to see him get that, and to actually be able to open up to the crowd to let people know that he had a relationship with Kobe Bryant, whether it was the talks and or the workouts, or just, you know, going to the Mamba Academy and learning the Mamba mentality. Love that, man. I absolutely love that. And so for me, I think the best moment of the All-Star game, and it's a moment that I hope we can see more of as we transition to the second half of the season, and that was seeing 7-foot Joel Embiid catch the ball at the perimeter, which is what a lot of, you know, big men are trying to do now, but not settling for a jump shot. Game on is on the line. It's getting close. I think the team Giannis was down 2 points, 152 to 150, needing a basket, and the big fella says, I got LeBron on me. I'm going to back him down, put the dream shake on him, and get a bucket for us, a much needed bucket. I love that. Absolutely love the big man being a big man. And the game ended with another big man on the opposite side being a big man. You got a mismatch. Anthony Davis had Kyle Lowry on him, and LeBron James makes the right pass, finding him on the block, trying to post up the little man. He gets fouled, which, you know, you got to call that. Unfortunately, the game should not end on a free throw. That's the one downside that I have to how the All-Star weekend ended. I don't want to see it end on a free throw. I heard a lot of different suggestions, and I think the best one is simple. Win by 2. Win by 2, and or if you get fouled, you take it out. One of those two. It should not be a situation where you end the game with a 1-point victory on a free throw. That's just anticlimactic for an All-Star game that you changed the format to give you that opportunity to have a game-winning shot. So other than that one minor change, Bravo to the NBA on nailing this All-Star weekend. And I look forward to what the rest of these are going to be as we move on for the future, because if they keep that same competitiveness up for the fourth quarter, it makes the first three quarters worth it, because you want to see the lobs, you want to see the high-flying dunks and the threes, and you want to see that. But you also want to see some competition. And if we can get a mixture of both from the best players in the world, tip my hat to them. So listen, what was your best moment? My best moment, like I said, was Embiid on that box, putting the dream shake on LeBron. What was your best moment? Go down to the comment section below and let me know. As always, I appreciate you for taking a look at this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel, hit that like button, and tap that notification bell so that you can stay updated with the journey of a Ballaholic.